Injuries on defense, the offense looking clunky, it doesn't matter. Going into week 3, there are no excuses. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals. It's Friday, man. It's Friday. Ain't no excuses for week 3. None. Go play football. Injuries, offense looking clunky, Marvin Harrison Jr. having a suspect start to the season. It doesn't matter. Going to San Francisco in what's really week 1, like, let's be honest. It's really kind of week 1. And take care of business. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, man. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, every dayers. You know this. Monday through Friday. Always. This is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals. Thank you. 15 years in sports media. This is my 9th season hosting this lovely show. I think the actual anniversary of my 8 years is on the 9th of October. When the podcast platform started, it was not what it is now. You know, it was obviously in its early stages, and I took over for the host who started and, took over mid-season 2016, I think. It was 2016. And, man, it's been a hell of a ride. And this year is going to be the most fun yet. I don't know what fun means yet because this team, there's so many question marks still. Like, has it been game flow? Has it been, opponent? Are they knocking the rust off? A lot of those things, or one glaring thing that we just haven't uncovered yet. And that's the fascinating part about this team, even though it's not ideal that they didn't beat their first 2 opponents by, 20 points each. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. How to execute the defense on Sunday with an injured secondary. Talk about that in the final segment. The offense must lead the charge. The part of the no excuses thing is the offense. And I'll expound upon that in the second segment. But, by and large, over the last, really 3.5 seasons, 4 years, a lot of the conversations, most at times of the conversations were, what's it going to look like when everything comes together? What's it going to look like when this roster is rebuilt? What's it going to look like when Kyler Murray has an above-average offensive line? What's it going to look like when the Cardinals get more than one skill position player to play on the outside to go along with Trey McBride? What are all these things going to look like when Cliff moves on? Well, who's the new head coach going to be? The new GM? Like, all of those things. And they came with built-in, baked-in, not necessarily excuses, but reasons as to why the Cardinals weren't relevant in the win-loss column. So now, regardless of what the injuries sustained look like, and even though it was a much, much better situation than what was initially feared it could be, they just got to go. Like, this is the perfect balance between something I refer to as a high wire act without a safety net, but the high wire is lower than it's ever been, or that it's been since Kyler Murray's been drafted. What I mean by that is we're going to find out a lot about this team by the end of the year. There are going to be consequences for the win-loss record, whether good or bad consequences, positive or negative, I should say, consequences at the end of the season. But there will be consequences, and that's good because the expectations haven't been there since the end of the 2022 season. Ever since Kyler Murray tore his ACL, there's been no expectations to win. The expectation was to completely, crater, then rebuild roster, culture, infrastructure, all the things that we've talked about ad nauseum since Jonathan Gannon and Monty Osborne took over. And then at the start of this season, with all the buildup, all the offseason acquisitions on defense, primarily targeting the defense in the draft, all the things you and I have talked about every day since the end of the 2024 season, all culminates into go. There's no excuses anymore. There's no reasons anymore. And when I say no excuses, I'm not saying that people are making them. They hold themselves accountable. Jonathan Gannon, they hold themselves accountable. But going into Sunday, there's no excuses just because Garrett Williams is on IR and Max Melton and Will Johnson are hobbled. We'll see if they're going to play. Up until this point, we don't know yet. You would think Max Melton is going to suit up because he's the only one that's practiced. Will Johnson's day-to-day. You'd assume that he'd be out Sunday. But again, I'm not a doctor, and we don't know. It doesn't matter. Go. Figure it out. Every team has injuries. Every team has adversity. Every team has things that are going against them where you feel like you're swimming upstream as a salmon, okay? But the Cardinals, with the expectations at hand from what's happened over the last couple seasons and how they're now a roster that's formulated to win, you got to figure it out. And that's going to look like very many different things on Sunday. Offensively, and I'll get into this much more in the next segment, you've got to figure out how to make the passing game more electric. You got to figure it out. Defensively, you've got to figure out, say Will Johnson does miss and Max Melton does play. Is your base set for Sunday going to be the Demon DB lineup with the three safeties? Has there been game script issues as directly correlated to the Cardinals not getting momentum on defense, not getting momentum on offense, because it's been so one-sided for large portions of both of those games? That's not a reason or an excuse. It's a question. Spencer Rattler and Bryce Young both threw around 50 times. That's not normal. Okay? That's not normal. And I know that Josh Sweat and Baron Browning are two of the more higher percentage win rate pass rushers. Is that because they've had more opportunity because Bryce Young and Spencer Rattler threw the ball 50 times each? Because of game script. Because the defense was so good early on. Because the offense scored early and often. Is that why? We don't know. A lot more will become clear on Sunday. But one thing is for certain, in my opinion at least, we haven't seen the full Nick Rallis defense. They've blitzed the least amount of any team in the NFL, I believe. So we haven't seen it. I've been imploring people to see this as week one. And luckily the Cardinals are 2-0. And this isn't some sort of like positive spin on a crap box situation where the Cardinals lose last week or something like that. The Cardinals happen to be 2-0. This is the worst version you're going to see of them. And the numbers are still pretty damn good percentage-wise, analytics-wise. Much better than I thought with the naked eye. Now, I'm much more of an eye test guy than an analytic guy. Pass rush needs to be better, but the pass rush, they haven't been blitzing nearly at the level that they were last year. They haven't flexed the full capability of this defense by any stretch with the front seven. And you're going against, in my eyes, the scariest running back in the NFL still. Over Derrick Henry, over Bijan, over everybody. I mean, Christian McCaffrey healthy is a deep. Would like to not ever have to play him. Regardless of all the adversity and all the crap and all the injuries that the Cardinals have dealt with so far this year, who cares? No excuses. Go get a win on the road like you've grown accustomed to winning at Levi Stadium. They've been very successful there. And they've been successful against the 49ers as a whole over the last couple seasons. Go do it again. Go move to 3-0. Gain some positive momentum against a fringe playoff team, depending on, their injuries and things like that, where the schedule benefits them greatly. Go get a win, and then come back home Thursday night, short week, against another division opponent where you can take a stranglehold on the NFC West early regarding tiebreakers. Getting 2 wins early against these teams would be massive. It starts on Sunday. No excuses. The offense needs to lead the charge. What does that look like? We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by DoorDash. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Calais Campbell. It was Calais Campbell last week. 2 sacks, salted it away. Yeah, it was Calais, and it's a beautiful thing to see him show up every day like a metronome, back in town, back at home, and somebody you can rely upon to be able to deliver. And just like Calais Campbell delivered for the Cardinals, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order, and you stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. NFL's here, man. I mean, appreciate football. We're already through 2 weeks. 1/9 of the season is over. And FanDuel's making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer right now. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. $300. Do you perk up yet? New customers, bet $5. If that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. The Cardinals are 2.5-point dogs. What do you think? Put some cheese down on FanDuel, whichever side you think will cash. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Please go to the YouTube channel. Search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Numbers are jumping up. Really appreciate everybody. Really appreciate all the support. For those that have been watching the Cardinal Squad Show as well on Thursday and following the game, Wednesday and following the game. Thank you very much. We're having a lot of fun over there. I've only known each other for a couple months, so only been doing it for a couple months. So I really appreciate the support for Week 4 because the Cardinals play Thursday night. I just got word because I had to ask because I wasn't exactly sure. The cadence will be as such: you'll get your Sunday afternoon live Cardinal Squad Show immediately following the game, and then Tuesday we'll be doing the Squad Show this week, and then on Thursday night following the game. The no excuses thing lean mostly towards the offense, even though the defense is the side that's hobbled. This can't be a situation where it's the players are injured on defense. What is the offense ever going to do? I don't care that they didn't add any pieces this offseason. I don't care. The offensive line is good, even though the run blocking hasn't been great. Trey McBride's all pro. James Conner's a Pro Bowler. Trey Benson looks very good so far this year in the pass game and in the run game. Kyler Murray's been very efficient. He had that one, weird turnover that ended up pretty much being a punt. He should have taken the sack. He knows that, but this wasn't one that led to the Cardinals losing the game. There was a comedy of errors and other questionable things that led to Carolina only losing by 5. This Sunday, and I feel like this is going to be a trend. This needs to be some sort of movement forward in the Marvin Harrison Jr. project. And I'm not saying he's a project. I'm saying, I'm nowhere near the, oh, no, he's a bust. It's like, come on, man. We live in this gotta-have-it-right-now situation. Stop comparing him to Jamar Chase, to Justin Jefferson, to Malik Neighbors. The Cardinals have a winning record since drafting Marv. The Giants have won 3 games. So you can have the conversation, well, Malik Neighbors will be doing a lot more in this offense than Marv. I don't know if that's true. That scheme thing, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whoever is quote-unquote at fault, and I think you could take the Venn diagram and give them 33% each. Kyler, Marv, Petson. This is the no excuses centralized argument. The offense needs to lead the charge, and Marv needs to be a huge part of it. And if this means force feeding early, get him 3, 4, 5 targets in the first quarter, I think it'd be a great idea. Bubble screens, flat out wide receiver screens where Kyler Murray throws pretty much a lateral to the sideline, and you line up with, if Tip Ryman plays or Trey McBride and Michael Wilson on that side blocking for him, get juices flowing early. Got to feed them. Got to feed them. And I think it will pay large dividends. The run game has to be better. And listen, it's not just like injuries aren't an original thing that teams never have to deal with. Opposing defenses have watched the Cardinals over the last couple of years, but they're a top 10 run defense, top 10 run offense. Maybe we should stack the box a little bit more and scheme a little bit more and make Kyler Murray throw the ball. The beautiful thing about this is Kyler Murray is a good passer of the football. They need to figure out the balance where if the run game is taken away, that you're able to pivot and throw the ball to Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. more and the other receivers, okay? And the backs. It's not there yet. But there are very early warning signs that this offense can't adjust. And you could say, oh, well, we've seen this for the last 3 years. That's not exactly what I mean. The Cardinals have plenty of firepower on offense to score 25 to 30 points a game. So the run game needs to be better, sure. But adjusting, what I mean by that in this instance is maybe throw the ball a whole bunch. Lighten that box up a little bit. I mean, it's like shooting threes to open up the low post game instead of what it's been since the start of James Naismith and a what was it, a peach basket or something, which was the first basket for basketball. Like, have a game plan, and we've started to see an evolution with the offense. We have. It's been a little clunky. It worked for 3 straight possessions to put the Cardinals scored 17 points in like 6 minutes of game time or something at the end of the second half in the first possession of the third. So we're starting to see it. It just needs to be with more regularity, and you need to be able to pivot with a lot less fat on the bone and just go, go, go. Can't have these empty possessions where it looks like this offense is bottom 5. The no excuses is predominantly centralized around the offense because we've seen Nick Rallis do a lot with not a whole lot of talent the first couple seasons. We've seen it. Now we need to see it with Drew Petzing. I do think people need to pump the brakes a bit that it's only Drew Petzing's fault. It's the easy way to say it. I get it. It's not Kyler Murray. The offenses look pretty much the same. I just don't understand why people, except for these first 2 weeks, like it's been different. Like, come on, it's been different. I just think that the share of blame with Marv is more than just Drew Petzing's play calling. I do. And when you have such a huge game for the Cardinals on Sunday, I know that George Kittle's not going to play. I know they've got injuries. I know Trent Williams is hobbled. What the 49ers have done pretty much since Kyle Shanahan took over was win a bunch of games when everybody was injured. They just figure it out. And that's what the Cardinals need to evolve into if they're going to be dealing with the cornerback injuries with any sort of sustained period of time. It's much better than what we thought it was going to be, but it's still not ideal losing, your 3 best corners who are healthy in some form or fashion. Regardless of all of that, the offense needs to take charge and go get a dub on the road in a game they probably should win. This is a game they probably should win. When you look at the talent, and I know, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, like, it's top-heavy defense. It's a top-heavy team. What the Arizona Cardinals used to be. There's a lot more depth here now, and the Cardinals need to go get a dub, and they need to have the offensive scheme necessary to be able to, you ready for hashtag analysis? Score more points than the 49ers on Sunday. Usually leads to a win. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. How to execute with an injured secondary. The Arizona Cardinals are equipped to be able to do this with the acquisitions and the draft picks they have made this offseason. And again, not an ideal situation. Far better than anybody could have expected or wished for after what we saw in week 2. What's it going to look like? I'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, and whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades, there are places that bring people together, and they use Square. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/locked.nfl to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See you in the neighborhood. All right. Again, YouTube channel, please, at Locked On. Nope. Search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. You can follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner, follow the podcast, and Locked On AZ Cards. Join the Insider program. Had a handful of subscriptions so far. The link is in the show description. One-on-one texting with me, questions answered. I'm having multiple conversations and concurrently right now. Just another fun way to be able to interact. And yeah, man, let's talk positively. Hope for a win on Sunday with the Cardinals. This is how the Arizona Cardinals defense executes with an injured secondary. Nick Rallis does his thing. Like, the implicit trust that I have that, I'm not going to tell you what to think, but it would lend me to think that what we've seen from Nick Rallis so far would yield as close to implicit trust as possible. You just trust that he's going to figure out how to build up a scheme and show things that we haven't seen yet. Specifically, I'm not even talking about, sending Budda Baker and Mac Wilson together, which he loves to do, or now sending ADG and Budda Baker, which we've seen a couple times. I'm talking about actually sending an extra pass rusher, like situationally, like you have your four, whether it be Zaven, Baron Browning alongside Josh Sweat, Dalvin Calais, or Dante Stills in the middle, Darius Robinson, whoever it is, and then adding Jordan Burch. Like, I want to see what Jordan Burch can do in this system when they're actually blitzing. And they haven't blitzed much. And I do think it's by design, truly. Don't show what you don't have to show. Cardinals scored points and held on. And what we did see, for those with selective memory, we saw a couple really sexy blitz packages towards the end of the Carolina game that worked. I think it was 3 of them. One of them was Josh Sweat getting the personal foul call with leverage, whatever it was. I think leverage is when you jump over the center during the kick is what they call that. But, when he had his body weight on Bryce Young, it's not his fault that he weighs 100 pounds more than Bryce Young, if not more. Probably not 100 pounds. There was that one. There was the Calais one at the end. And there was one other. I think it was the one that was supposed to end the game, but Denzel Burke was holding 90 yards down the field. And they called that defensive holding and negated that play. Like, we saw it. We saw the pop where it's like, oh, look, there's a blitz. It's like, yeah, Nick Rallis didn't forget how to draw up blitzes, okay? But that's going to be it. It's going to be that, coupled with, you'd expect Dadrian Taylor-Demerson, Budda Baker, and Jalen Thompson to be on the field a lot. And sure, Max Melton playing or not predicates some of that percentage-wise, but you're going to see Keitrell Clark and Denzel Burke, and hopefully Max Melton at least, but you're going to see that 3 safety set a lot. You couple that with actually blitzing up front, you could see this is what you hope for, okay? This is what you hope for because you haven't seen the blitzes up front because they haven't really needed to. You kind of wanted to keep things a secret. The games were majority of the time in tow. We could talk about if that's the right play or not. It doesn't really matter because it's already happened and the Cardinals already won 2 games. Those are going to be 2 of the easier wins that the Cardinals will have this year. You could, in theory, see the best defensive output on Sunday, even with Garrett Williams on IR. And let me explain why. Because a lot of this, the DBs have been carrying the weight because they haven't been blitzing much. Okay, Nick Rallis likes to blitz. Okay, he's not Brian Flores blitz percentages, which Brian Flores is a maniac with blitzing. But he's not bottom of the NFL percentage blitz guy. The coverage has been good enough to where you don't need to do that. So now you put the 3 safety set on, and then you actually send blitzes. You could see a very efficient game plan for the Cardinals on defense, even though Garrett Williams and Will Johnson most likely are out. Garrett Williams is out. Will Johnson is day-to-day, and he hasn't practiced. So chances are he's not going to play. But again, I'm not a doctor. So even thinking that the Cardinals defense could be close to what it was in the first couple of weeks without their CB1 and rookie CB standout is a testament to Nick Rallis and his ability to elevate talent everywhere. And that's all he's done since coming into the league as a DC for the Cardinals. So all of that to say, while the offense must lead the charge, the defense will be above competent, even without 2-1. Cardinals need to win this game. Win the turnover battle. Keep Christian McCaffrey at bay. And don't give up the big play to Juwan Johnson or Ricky Pearsall. Cannot overlook Ricky Pearsall. Catches everything. I talked with Brian Peacock, Locked On 49ers. We did that yesterday. Check that out. Brian's one of my dear friends in this business. We've been together with this, for a long time, 8 years now. Ricky Pearsall's a dog. He's not a rip the ball out of a DB's hands dog, but he is clean with it, he catches everything. And it's going to be very, very important. Very, very important for the safeties not to let the top off and have huge chunk plays down the field. I think that's pretty generic. It's like, how do you win? You don't turn the ball over, you turn the opposing team over, you don't give up big plays, and you keep Christian McCaffrey in front of you. I don't care if Christian McCaffrey has 15 receptions for 70 yards. As long as it's in front of you and they stay out of the end zone and they bend, don't break like this Cardinals defense is set normally to do, Cardinals should come out with a win. 27-24, Cardinals. This is a massive, massive game. This is week 1, truly. The Cardinals are lucky to be 2-0 because they played two not-so-great teams, teams in transition. They almost gave it away twice. If the Cardinals lose by like 10 or 2 touchdowns or something, it's going to be an interesting conversation as, you're 96 hours away from hosting Seattle. If the Cardinals get a win and move to 3-0, we're going to be having different conversations regardless of what it looks like. We're here for it. After the game, I'll immediately be going live for my instant reaction for about 15 minutes. Following that, Cardinal Squad Show, full hour. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you post-game on Sunday.